This is MNB-TV, sponsored by MyWebGrocer, the leading provider of digital grocery and CPG solutions.
Let's talk about something that Dan O'Connor brought up the other day, and it's got to be an enormous issue for everybody in this audience who has to compete in this playing field. And that's the notion that e-commerce, by its very nature, and obviously Amazon's the biggest player in this, is a deflationary influence. Mm-hmm. It creates transparency, it drives prices down, and that's really hard to compete with that. So, A, do you agree with that notion? And B, if that's the case, how do you compete with that?
Yeah, well, I actually spent a lot of time with Dan coming to that conclusion. So absolutely, I mean, it is all about if you sell a widely distributed or even somewhat narrowly distributed product, if that is sold online, it's likely sold online through a number of sellers, either a number of sellers on Amazon or a number of different websites. So, you know, if it's product A and it's available widely, you know, it's going to be to compare the price of that product across these properties, right? Or on Amazon across sellers versus Amazon, you know, it's simple to do that. So naturally, price becomes compressed. You know, and I mean, Amazon, it naturally happens at Amazon on the detail page, right? You go to a detail page of any of your products, if you're a manufacturer, you know, you'll see multiple sellers of that product, one of which is often Amazon, some of which are third-party sellers that actually fulfill through Amazon, and then there's also third-party sellers that don't fulfill through Amazon. But you know, that transparency is enabled right there on the detail page. So naturally, in the Amazon environment, you get pushed down to that lowest price.
So we've talked about this a lot, and the notion is that because price becomes, I mean, just being right on price, whatever that happens to mean. Once you've achieved that, what you have to then do is, especially if you're a brick and mortar retailer,
right,
you have to find all that other stuff. I mean, price no longer can be a differentiating advantage in this
If it's
kind
a
of
widely available product, it is impossible to sustain being the only low price leader. It's just impossible because everybody's going to come down to that price. So, you know, whatever that price is will flush out. It'll either naturally flush out online or it'll flush out in your in-store strategy, you know, getting that to balance right with online. And then, you know, it's not rocket science. You have to build an experience, you know, around, you have to build a customer experience that draws people into the store that is not dependent upon, you know, that item at $3 or that item at $2.85. You know, it's got to be about a sensory experience. It's got to be about conveying knowledge. It's got to be about excitement. You know, it's got to be about something that cannot be delivered online. And
that might be convenience, right? I mean, that's
convenience absolutely can be one of them.
It doesn't have to be a Wegman-style theatrical sort of experience. It could be something very basic, whether it's
it's access, right? Yeah. If it's quick access to a product, sure. But there is but again, even that, there's some price sensitivity to that, right? What is the premium on convenience? You know, I was telling John Lilly this the other day. I actually had a great experience on Best Buy the other day. Our printer blew. It was a Saturday morning, and we had a lot of stuff we needed to get done. And we went online, and we thought it was just the printer heads needed to be replaced, but we found through kind of transparency and community that even if you replace the heads, the printer was still going to die within the next month or so. So we went online, and you know, naturally, Amazon's the first place we look, and we found the printer that we wanted at $190. My wife went on BestBuy.com, found it for $199, available at our local store. So we're like, well, heck, for $9, I can go down and pick it up today. That's great. Went down to Best Buy and went into the store, and I said, I want an Epson Workforce 845. Online says you have it in the store available for pickup today. And the store associate said, I don't think we carry that in this store. And I said, well, online said you do. So he went to his computer and said, oh, yeah, we do have it. You know, and it was right there. So I paid $9 more, you know, so 5% more, happily, you know, it took an hour of my time to drive down and do that. So, you know, depending on the category, depending on the types of items, you know, thinking about, conveying product and value to folks in kind of this new economy, in this new way, I think is something you should really think about. And it may be assembling for in-store pickup, it may be local delivery, it may be through subscriptions and list management, but there's lots of ways that you can think about kind of playing in and around what I call these commodity branded products that are widely available and price compressed, that you can certainly deliver that experience within your broader retail and store experience.
And now, a few moments with MyWebGrocer.
One of the things we heard here at the show was that one of the challenges to mainstream retailers is that online retailing is by its very nature more transparent. Because it's more transparent, it's deflationary. Mm-hmm. It drives prices down.
Yeah, that's right.
And that creates a real challenge for retailers, especially those who have existed on slotting allowances and nobody really knows what anything really costs. Do you find it hard for retailers to sort of get used to what, for a lot of them, is going to be a brave new world?
Well, I mean, we have some retail clients that were afraid to put their pricing out on the internet for fear of competitive information, right? I don't want to make it easy for my competitors to know my pricing. It is deflationary. It forces you to have a value proposition different than just price. And the thing about digital is that all of, for those consumers that want to shop that way, all of the things that you do around the store don't mean anything because they're not in the store. They're on the computer. So you have to win on convenience. You have to win on selection. You have to win on personalization of what is relevant to Kevin or Rich at a particular time and place. And you have to be very creative in how you provide them access to your materials, because there is so much information at the fingertips. You need them to find you because they're not walking into the store or they're not picking out one media element like a newspaper and then searching through. They're browsing.
Next time on MNB-TV.